We're live in Queens from the lovely Lifetime Studios, just 3 subway stops from Manhattan. Queens, New York, home to the nanny's Fran Drescher. Coming up today on Queens, he's the butler from the hit CBS series The Nanny, but in real life he can't even make coffee. It's Monday. Do you know where your planets are? The Cosmic Muffin is here. And it can take years off your looks, but it can badly burn your skin. Acid peels. And please welcome our host and the woman who will not peel before her time, Sissy Biggers.
Thanks, Molly. In fact, I have peeled, and it's not anywhere before my time. It's just in the nick of time. Welcome to Queens, your alternative talk show, the not just another talk show. Because no other talk show boasts the West Coast correspondent, the faithful Rhonda Shear, on Mondays.
So happy to be here with my new look.
It's a wonderful look.
It's a fall.
I mean,
well, I washed my hair and I fell asleep.
Wait a minute. It's not a fall look. This is a fall.
It's a fall.
Oh, Rhonda,
well, I
your
washed my hair and I
secrets.
fell asleep on it, and it was going all different directions, so I just stuck this on with a hat.
Well, it's very believable. None of us would have known. Now, Rhonda, I couldn't turn on the TV this weekend without hearing Rhonda Shear and Caitlin every time I turned it on. Entertainment Tonight.
You thought it was like a whole new Love Hot Scoop or
What's
something.
going on with you?
Entertainment Tonight was on our set. Caitlin was a guest because we will have him on USA Up All Night, I have to say that, on December the 2nd, hosting or co-hosting his own film. That he had. Yeah, well,
did Cato have a film career before this?
Beach Fever. He did. I mean, he actually had. He opened for me as a stand-up back in 1988.
Well, he's got a little bit of a resurgence in his career, as it's turned out.
They were there. The press was everywhere. You would not believe what was going on.
Really?
It was, but only Entertainment Tonight was allowed in, and then they let the. Just the photographers in later on. It was unbelievable. He's actually very, very funny.
Good for you. You know, it's kind of the split screen between Rhonda's life, surrounded by photographers and the press clamoring to get near her, and Cato. And I, of course, was surrounded by 10 very exuberant 7-year-olds at the movies for Sarah's birthday party this weekend.
With paparazzi, I bet.
Oh, yeah, actually, just my husband. He's a faithful paparazzi at birthday parties. But it was really funny because this was the first year that I woke up on a birthday Saturday and I didn't have to clean the house for the kids to dirty it. Because I was taking them out to lunch and to a movie.
Oh, out of
Isn't that brilliant? Out of the house.
Gone.
But you know, the best laid plans, you still learn something on these birthday parties. Number one, when you take the girls out to lunch, a rib restaurant is probably not a good idea.
Not unless you have those little wipes, those handy wipes.
Well, you know what? They do. They serve you the ribs, and then you get all the wash and dries. But when you open up a wash and dry packet, it's about this big, and you have to unfold it. I had to unfold 10 wash and dries for these little girls going, help, my hands are all disgusting. So then I had to get every girl cleaned up, and then we went to the movie theater where the sitter had already gone to the multiplex and reserved the row, okay?
This is good.
She'd gone ahead and she'd smuggled in the goodie bags with the candy in it. Because growing up, didn't you think it was like against the law to bring candy from an outside source into a movie theater?
Yeah, there'd be definitely,
well,
you'd be arrested for that.
We got it by security. We were very excited about that. I got the girls all settled and happy in front of the Swan Princess. Then I leaned over to the sitter and said, I'll be next door at the River Wild.
You left?
Yeah, I did.
You didn't?
They were in very good care. I just caught the last exciting, tension-filled hour of the River Wild with Meryl Streep. She's going to take the Academy Award. There is just no question.
I'm in shock that you walked out.
But the greatest, no, let me explain something. They were safe. They were with the sitter. They were completely transfixed with the animation of the movie. But I got in just in time to see the last half hour so that I could spend the rest of the weekend explaining to the girls that they don't need a prince to live happily ever after. Because the movies still have the same message. So a good time was had by all on Saturday.
You didn't feel bad that you missed the first 2 hours of the film?
You don't. The last half hour, you get it all. She's a swan. She gets kissed. She's not a swan. He slays someone.
Streep.
Oh, Meryl Streep. No. I came in at the best part. If you're going to see The River Wild, just go for the last hour. It's brilliant. Okay.
You could do that with just about any film.
You could, but you have to have a really good sitter to be in the other multiplex, okay?
Cool.
All right, so now that we've all decided that I'm a bad mother.
You should hang out with me. We should exchange places one week. I should stay with the girls.
Oh,
and you should go out to L.A. and you could do the whole gossip thing.
Rhonda, I bet you'd play Barbies with them for hours.
I would.
I had a feeling about you.
I have the best Barbie collection.
Your babysitter, Rhonda's coming. They would love
with the high heels and makeup, the hair. They'd love it.
Well, I could use you around Thanksgiving because, you know, it's coming up, the big long weekend. We're all looking forward to the holidays. I mean, we try to look forward to the holidays, but let's be honest. Sometimes there's a little tension associated with these family gatherings. And here to help us understand that maybe this is okay and to be expected and how to deal with it better, please welcome a marital therapist and family therapist, Dr. Jean Cirillo. Welcome to Queens.
Hi, thank you for
Nice to
having me
meet
on the
you.
show.
So why is this such a tense time when it should be so happy?
Well, in a way, you set yourself up for disappointment because you're telling yourself, my kids should be nice. Uncle Joe, who's been drunk for the last 10 years,
Right.
will be sober this time. You're expecting things to go perfectly. So when they don't, you're disappointed. Other times a year, you're a little more realistic.
Now, are you saying that we should change the expectation then, Dr. Jean?
I think we have to expect what's been happening these past few
Right.
years. Don't expect things to go perfect.
Right. So we can't expect to change the ones we love.
No, we can't expect to change the ones we love. A lot of times you have a difficult child. This is the child that's ignored by his cousins, whatever it is. You really set yourself up for
Can we
disappointment.
just go somewhere else, perhaps?
Well, that wouldn't be such a bad idea.
Now, when we get to the household and we know that these things, there's potential for this, what kind of advice can you give us as individuals? Some sort of marching orders or a little mantra maybe when there's a tense moment in the
Well,
family.
a lot of times you have to tell yourself it'll be over soon. You know Thanksgiving is here when your relatives stay till Christmas. You really have to tell yourself this is temporary. I expect things not to be perfectly. All the tensions are going to arise. Drug and alcohol problems come out now, kid problems, marital problems. A lot of people are in divorced or separated, blended families.
Boy, it sounds like a fun time at Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have to have a relationship with your daughter's ex-husband because the grandchildren are yours. And a lot of times the mother-in-law has had a certain holiday. Suddenly somebody comes into the family. He or she says, okay, now we're going to take
Do it
over
this
this
way,
holiday.
right.
You have to watch whose toes you're stepping on.
Now, in the midst of all this...
And then if we hate the turkey on top of it.
Oh, the turkey's always going to be a slam dunk, isn't it? Well, we're going to talk about that later when we get some good recipes from everybody, because hopefully they'll at least be the bright side of things. But when you're in the midst of all this, Doctor, is this not a good time for family confrontations? Is it just best to sort of just let it wash off the back, as it were?
Well, you should expect that there'll be some confrontation. You have to communicate with the people involved. Find out what's expected to you, especially if you're coming into a new family. Find out how much people usually spend on gifts. Find out where they go, find out who takes over which holiday. Usually the people who will take Thanksgiving or New Year's are the heroes, because those are the holidays
Yeah.
that nobody wants, with
Right.
the eating and the drinking and all
Right.
the people. But if somebody's had it for so many years, don't step on their toes.
Do a little research.
Family research.
Family research, I think it's a very good tip. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about one of the difficult aspects even before you get to the tension-filled table, which is whose house are you going to go to, your mother's or your mother-in-law's? So call us if you need some help. Or maybe you have a tip about how you get through the holidays, okay? We want to hear from you.
Take out turkey.
Coming up later on Queens, it's Monday. Do you know where your planets are? The Cosmic Muffin is here. And he's the butler from the hit CBS series The Nanny. But in real life, he can't even make coffee.
Actually, he was an excellent dancer, except when they did the hokey pokey.
Because one of the Ice and what, lasagna?
Yes, do you want me to make you a list?
I don't need a list.
And Brussels sprouts.
Oh, hey, you know what with Brussels sprouts? Let's say no.
Come on, Fram's alone. Ryan is with Mark. She's feeling vulnerable and she loves Brussels sprouts.
So let her eat a Valium.
Would you please? This is the first time they're all coming to us. I want everyone to be happy.
I thought we're doing it our way.
We are doing it our way, except with Brussels sprouts.
All right, so what am I going to get? Ice, Brussels
Sounds familiar. That, of course, is Mad About You, which is on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock on
very
NBC.
realistic.
Very realistic. Now, there's a couple that probably had to make a decision about whose house they were going to go to. Everyone came to their house. Is there a steadfast rule, Doctor, on making that decision in a marriage?
Sure. When you have an apartment, when you're first married, you're not expected to entertain.
Right.
Once you buy a house, that's when you become part of the
So
competition.
keep the apartment forever.
That would be the smart thing to do. Unfortunately, though, people want to get into doing their share. They want to feel they've made a positive contribution to the family.
But what about the nuts and bolts of the mother versus the mother-in-law?
Well, usually this is a woman's issue, and the women make the arrangements, so more time is spent with the woman's family. And that can be a problem if the mother-in-law has been really dominant and has always had the holidays. That's where there has to be some room for compromise. There's nothing wrong with getting mom and mom-in-law together with husband and wife
Right.
and talking about it. And if there is going to be a change, at least explain it. Don't make somebody feel slighted. You know, you have to do your share, but you can't step on anybody's toes.
And is a couple putting too much pressure on themselves when they make some rule about, all right, Thanksgiving it's here, Christmas it's there? Should they make a plan like that and try to stick to it? Does that increase the pressure,
I
Jean?
think there should be some format, but it shouldn't be dyed in cement.
Okay.
That it can't be
Shouldn't be like
changed.
one
Right.
year we'll do this, the next year we'll do that.
Right, it can be. It depends because things change
Things
over the years.
change.
Every time a new
Right.
person comes into the family or there's a divorce or a new child, it shifts. Something changes.
And then you get those phone calls from both of them,
Right.
the mother-in-law and the mother.
And then you get
And
your
you feel
then you
guilty,
get one of your brothers who's dating like this hot Italian girl, and then everybody wants to go to his house. You know what I'm saying? This is what's been thrown into the mix at my house this year. The boys are voting. We have Laura on the line from Georgia, and I think she's got a tip. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Welcome to Queens.
I love you. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. Now, could you come to my house for Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'd love to.
Now,
I love
what's
to
your
cook,
tip
too.
for the holidays, Laura?
Well, my tip is have it at your house and
Right.
invite the mother and the mother-in-law and the brothers and the sisters, and you do it.
Are you a good entertainer? Is it something that you enjoy, or do you get a little stressed out?
No, I don't really get stressed out. I love to cook. I don't sweat the small stuff is the motto at my house, and everybody comes into my house, takes their shoes off. It's real casual. Everybody brings a little something from their table, and we go for it.
Oh, that's wonderful. That sounds like a lot of fun. Does that sound like
I
a good
think
plan?
that works in some cases, but if the mother or the mother-in-law has always had it at their house, it might not work in this
I know, but
situation.
the older they get, then it's not as, they
Right.
kind of like you to take over.
Yes,
That's a
true.
very
You know,
good
and you
point.
make memories of when, they did it and stuff, and they come in and taste it and all that. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good point.
A lot of times a mother-in-law feels she has to do it even when she's no longer physically capable, and she's happy when you'll assume the role.
It's nice when the kids can start carrying on.
Right.
It really is. Laura, it
they
sounds like it's going to be a
criticize-
lot of fun. What part of Georgia are you?
I'm from Kennesaw,
Which is where? Where is that?
Atlanta.
Near Atlanta? Well, I
you
hope
don't
you
know
have...
Kennesaw, the Civil War? Come on.
Oh, yes, of course I do, because I'm a Civil War buff. I didn't know if you knew that about me.
You're the best. and you
Thanks,
make
Laura. Thanks for
my
calling.
day.
Happy Thanksgiving. We have Phyllis on the line from Pennsylvania. How are you today, Phyllis?
Oh, fine.
Hi,
Welcome
Phyllis.
to Queens. Did you need some advice, or do you have a tip?
I have a tip.
Good.
I have 5 children, and
Wow.
I have my Thanksgiving meal yesterday on Sunday, and then they go to their in-laws or themselves have their get-togethers at their place on
And then,
Thanksgiving.
what do you do on Thanksgiving, Phyllis?
We leave Wednesday night to go down to our cabin, and we take the leftovers down and have our Thanksgiving meal, just the 2 of us,
Oh,
and rake leaves and burn leaves and have fun. Walk on the beach.
how nice.
Isn't that
Very good
wonderful?
idea.
How many
Yeah.
years have you been married, Phyllis?
28.
Well, that's wonderful. That sounds like a nice way to use the tradition. So maybe choose another day. That sounds like a good
Yeah,
plan.
a lot of times, especially if you have a lot of kids, don't expect it has to be done traditionally. A different day might take some of the pressure off everybody.
Yeah, that's a
What
good
about
plan.
house hopping? Like the mother-in-law has it and the mother.
Well,
Then you
that's
have to
okay,
eat
too. You
dinners.
just have to be careful
That,
not to eat
that
and
could
run.
get a little tense.
Yeah,
But
I
people
think you're
do
better
that.
off spending more
I
time
did that
at one
for a few
place.
years, and that would get very tense. Phyllis, thanks a lot for calling. Tammy from Philadelphia is on the line, and it says here that she needs some help. Tammy, what can we do for you?
Well, my in-laws have a drinking problem, and I don't have great expectations. I know it's going to be a wreck. My husband says, oh, don't worry about it. It might not happen this year, but it happens every year. And I just get so nervous this time of year, and I don't know how to handle it.
Okay, well,
Good
your
question.
husband is wrong saying it might not happen. It will happen. You have to expect that it is going to happen this year. Be prepared to deal with it. Be prepared to leave early if you have to. You know, there are certain houses where the police actually say, we know that at that time we have to go there to break up the domestic violence.
Wow.
Now, that's an extreme case, but it does happen. Expect that it will happen and that it will be worsened by all the celebration. However, you can deal with it if you plan for it ahead of time.
What do you think, Tammy?
The main problem I have is that my husband and I just fight this whole time.
Right.
Just knowing the anticipation.
All right, well,
And-
don't fight over it. Realize that it's outside of your control. There are some things which you or your husband can't control. He cannot change his parents.
Right. I do
Accept
tend
that
to
it's
blame
going to
him.
be that way.
And Tammy, do you have children?
No.
Because another sort of diversion, I think, is
Right.
spending some time like, I better go check on the kids. No, I'll put the erector set together. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Make plans for where else you have to go. This is
Right.
a good time to talk about house hopping.
Tammy, I'm glad you called, and good luck,
Oh,
okay?
thank you.
And, you know, stay tuned, because for our Burning Queens question, we're going to talk about the fun part of Thanksgiving, which is the secret ingredient to your sensational stuffing. Now, that everybody can agree on, right?
I agree. I love the stuffing.
Jean, thanks very much.
Thank you.
So everybody should keep their chins up, right?
I feel full.
Persevere. Thanks
Next
a lot.
on
That was very
Queens.
helpful.
Information you cannot do without. News you can use.
Really quickly when we come in about, where'd you lunch on Friday in Los Angeles?
yeah.
Bistro Gardens? Or not?
Please say hello to the Cosmic Muffin.
Hi, Muffin.
Hiya, babes.
How are you?
Actually, you could.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so excited
I will.
to do the
Take it
report
tight.
this time because we're going to have a great Thanksgiving.
I'm so glad. Thank God. So, Cosmic, Rhonda's going to give us a little gossip tidbit from the West Coast, and then we'll introduce you, okay, guy?
Make it good gossip.
Oh, it will be.
I knew it would.
To the guy. No, he's doing.
Out this way because I'm going to look at you reading copy here and I'm going to look right past you to them. When you're done with your copy, then you'll go to and hey, what's going on there?
Okay.
And have a good time. Here's the director.
Hi, Daniel.
Mateo.
Hi, nice
Nice to meet you. How
Did
are
they
you?
explain this to you? It's kind of a gag, you know. Everybody kind of hangs around like they're not ready to come back from the
Right.
break, and you read the teas, and at the end you look up and you notice that everybody's still not ready to come back, and
Okay.
just say something to them that kind of like calls attention to how unprofessional they are.
Okay.
And they'll respond, and you kind of do it back and forth. You have some room to fool around with it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Let's make sure we get them. What'll work really well though is if you are seen on more of a profile, because we'll look at the back of your head.
There you go.
Okay.
So if you, there you go. Now, if you look this way when you read,
All right.
but then when you talk to them, you turn.
Where's my copy?
Copy is this it right here?
I don't know.
Guys, this is the copy for the Scout Scramble. Hello. Who governs the copy for this? Because we're unsure as to what the copy is. I think this is it.
Is that it?
Pretty sure. Top of 3, right?
Okay.
Danny,
Yeah.
it's your mic. He's not,
So it starts right there.
Okay.
Danny, use this.
Did he sing?
No.
It's not just in your head. Women and headaches.
You know, Miss Babcock is my biggest headache. Miss Babcock is a headache. What are those people doing in there? Hello. Would anybody in there like some decaf?
It's about
You want to come back? What do I go into my dance here?
Yes, that'd be great, Daniel. That, of course, is Daniel Davis. We adore him from The Nanny.
Thank
Welcome
you very
to
much.
Queens.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Now, no one's ever offered me a coffee on this show, Rhonda.
Never.
That was so nice of him to offer me a decaf.
Never.
Why? Do I need a decaf, Daniel? What are you talking
I
about?
don't know. It looked a little crazy in there. A little
Now,
wired.
Aunt Rhonda, my faithful West Coast correspondent, has a little kind of info. You were out to lunch in Beverly Hills on Friday?
At the Bistro Gardens. Okay, and so a friend of mine...
Very in place.
Very, very in, very, very Beverly Hills.
Did you get a good table?
It's where the ladies lunch there. Very good table, because I know them very well. I've been going there for 10 years. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and A.C. Cowlings. I know you... Well, little gossip.
A.C. Collins, as in O.J.
As in O.J. Simpson's best friend, was in there with all these people from USC, former USC players, and so
because it was the big football weekend.
It was like a big football, and all the guys were sitting around, and AC was there, and a lot of women were like talking to him and playing up to him. Anyway, a friend of mine went to USC, and so he was in the bathroom next to AC. I guess guys talk in the bathroom too. Anyway, he started asking AC all sorts of questions, and one of the things that came up was that AC was having lunch last Friday night with OJ's kids. So they have kept in touch, and that friendship remains. I think that was sort of interesting, a little piece of...
Wait, so this is straight from the urinals?
Straight from the urinals.
In the men's room at the Bistro Garden?
Yes. And also he says that OJ says he can't wait for things to get back to normal, and just that he's looking forward to that. In the meantime, the kids remaining rather normal, and they dined with AC on Friday night. Now, no one else had that scoop but you, Sissy.
Gosh, you heard it here first on Queens. Uncle AC in the bathroom. Thank you for that, Rhonda.
With a big sweatshirt and jeans, I would have been thrown out of the Bistro Gardens dressed
He's
like
a big
that.
celebrity now, let's face it.
I know,
Strange
it's true.
claim to fame.
Yeah.
Well, the next guest on our show is a regular on Mondays, and he needs really no introduction, because we just expect him to set us straight for the week. And it's the Cosmic Muffin. How are you, Muffin?
Well, I'm fine. How are you, Sissy?
Good to talk to you today.
I was so excited to do this report today.
Why?
It's one of the best Thanksgivings I've seen in over 10 years from an astrological point of view.
Well, I think that Tammy and some of our other friends out there will be very glad to hear that today.
Now, what I do is that I'll have about 11 people at my house the day after Thanksgiving, because I take the leftover turkey and make turkey tetrazzini. Being Italian, they love to come to my house.
Yum.
Mangia, mangia.
So, no star problems for us? It's just going to be smooth sailing?
Well, there are a couple of things we need to talk about. These are highlights of this week. Now, tomorrow, at 8:06 a.m. Eastern Time, 5:06 Pacific Time, the Sun enters Sagittarius. We kick off the changeable portion of the fall season, getting us ready for winter, which does not occur till December 21st.
Okay.
Now, the people think the sign Sagittarius, because it's called a changeable or immutable sign, is somehow, like schizophrenic. You understand that, Cynthia. You're a Gemini. People say that about your sign, too, which is stupid.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not a Gemini.
I thought you were, darling.
No, I'm a Cancer, Muffin.
She's hurt.
Sorry to have to tell you that.
Oh, it doesn't bother me.
Okay, good.
No.
Did I seem more like a Gemini? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you like to do more than one thing at a time.
That's true. I like to do 4 things at
And
once.
those 2 personalities, the nice one and the nice.
But what I'm saying is that people who are Geminis or Sagittarius sometimes get picked on. What our ancestors were saying to us is that they called this time a changeable sign because it was a changeable portion of a season. That's all that meant. Our ancestors were farmers. And they were afraid. They worshipped the sun. And so they were afraid it was getting colder. They had all these parties and celebrations and prayed to the sun to make it come back. Son of a gun, it worked in the spring every time. Now, you're going to have Venus sitting still, and it's going to be direct on Saturday, which means that your parties will even go better. We have a third quarter moon on Saturday, so the only days that are out for shopping, oddly enough, are Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So
It's the best shopping day
Wait a
of the
minute.
year.
Muffin, this is un-American of you. Stars be damned. You're saying no shopping the day after?
Well, do what I do. Is avoid a course moon all day, makes it a bad day on Friday. Buy the gifts for your in-laws that you don't like.
Oh, I see. Use the time is what you're saying.
Let them return them.
And Saturday looks good, though, for entertaining?
Oh, my.
Because I'm giving a rather important, significant birthday party for my mother-in-law
All right.
on Saturday night. All
right.
the in-laws at my house.
You will tell me if I'm not right on next Monday.
Okay.
That this is one of the most high-energy, organized, best parties you've ever done.
Oh, I'm so glad.
That's because they're watching and they know they have to be that way.
I'm so glad now that they all have their marching orders.
But the sun will change signs tomorrow. If you're a little bit confused tomorrow, don't worry about it. This was very temporary. It goes away.
Good.
It's nothing.
Good.
No
I love that.
eclipses, no full moons, no nothing crazy.
Well,
Everything's improving.
we're gonna kick back, we're gonna eat, and we're not gonna worry.
I'm not worried.
I can't wait for the turkey tetrazzini.
Oh, it sounds divine. Send us your recipe, would you, Muffin?
Absolutely. People can call or write or fax or whatever.
I love turkey tetrazzini. Thanks a lot for calling, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday weekend, okay?
I'm not through yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a wise person that rules the stars. It's a fool who's ruled by them. And I love sissy figures.
Oh, stop. Everyone's being so nice to me today. Thanks a lot, Muffin.
Over and out.
Thank you. Well, gosh, I'm so pleased. Everything's just going to be great this weekend.
I'm excited, because I'm just going to be at a restaurant. I mean, don't feel guilty or anything, Sissy.
Rhonda, you know you're always welcome, Aunt Rhonda.
That's okay. You don't have
now I know
to.
that you'll play Barbies with the girls, like the whole day. You're welcome. Molly, what do we have in the news update today?
Hi, Sissy. Hi, Rhonda. Actually, I want to give you my home phone number, Rhonda, so you can call me with these Al Cowlings type of stories,
I
okay?
will. Always good. For your news, you can use.
That's right. Keeping track of the latest fashion trends here at Queens, as we always do. Get this, the new thing, delivery service uniforms like a UPS shirt. In fact, any article of clothing of United Parcel Service of Americas or Federal Express or the U.S. Postal Service is the rage in urban boutiques. But there are a few problems. You don't believe this. In the first place, stores are not supposed to have the stuff, and although you may think a company like FedEx would be thrilled at this trend, they're not because of security concerns, people passing themselves off and getting into your homes and even collecting COD money. But you're laughing at this.
Wait.
$18 for a UPS hat.
So can you see Rhonda sort of in a pair of leggings and a brown UPS shirt or a big bright orange and blue Domino's top?
Tomorrow I'm wearing it. You wait.
That'd be adorable.
A pair of hiking boots and a backpack.
Very cute.
High
look.
stiletto heels.
Okay, article in the New York Magazine on Al Gore contains excerpts from a letter written to his father when he was in college at Harvard that is embarrassing to the vice president.
This.
Gore wrote the letter at Harvard. He described the U.S. Army as the best example of a fascist totalitarian regime. And he said that he described the letter as a college kid's silly language in the midst of a very intense period.
But if I read that article correctly, Molly, his father, Al Gore Sr., released those letters from his collection.
Exactly, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense since Al Gore wants to be president someday, which would make
They're
him
not going to have a
commander-in-chief.
good Thanksgiving.
No, they're not. They
Not
are gonna be
attention at the
fighting
Gore
over that one.
Dad, what were you thinking?
And speaking of Thanksgiving, if you haven't a clue as to how to cook a turkey, you can always call the government. Actually, it's the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and they logged in about 23,000 calls last November. For instance, one caller wanted to know if it was okay to eat a turkey that had fallen into a vat of tar. Another caller asked if she should take the bird out of the plastic bag before cooking it. We could answer these, couldn't we?
Wait a minute.
It wasn't me.
I thought that this was one of those things that Al Gore vowed to get rid of, like in the government, was like you can call for turkey tips.
I love this comment.
There's no way he's going to be president.
The number is 1-800-535-4555 in case anyone wants to call. It's open between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. weekdays. On Thanksgiving, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The spokesperson for the hotline said that if it's busy, keep trying.
Put that number on the refrigerator. Thanks for that, Molly.
If the turkey fell into tar?
Oh, maybe it was being tarred and feathered, perhaps? I don't know. Well, let's get some tips for that stuffing, don't you think? Sherry's on from Kentucky. Hi, Sherry. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Glad you called. What's your secret ingredient to your no-fail delicious stuffing?
Chicken noodle soup.
Chicken noodles?
You mean dried or out of a can?
Out of a can, like Campbell's.
And you mix it all up. Talk me through this, Sherry.
You put it in with your chicken broth so you can lower the amount of your chicken broth, and it gives it a lot of flavor.
And the noodles, how's that as a texture in there?
Oh, it's great.
I bet.
Is that something you just came up with one morning? You woke up and said, I have to do this?
No, actually, this is my grandmother's recipe.
Your grandmother's recipe from Kentucky. Well, thank you, Sherry. Chicken noodle soup. Okay, that's one I never heard.
All over the country, people do eat differently. You notice that?
And everybody has the definitive stuffing recipe. Sandy from PA. How are you, Sandy?
Fine.
What's your secret?
Apple cider.
Apple cider, kind of just to moisten it a little bit?
Yeah,
How much do you put
mix it. You mix it in with chicken gumbo soup, the broth from the chicken from the turkey that you cooked. My sister finds out I'm giving you this recipe, she's going to hang me. This is her recipe, not mine. My sister's Stretch, so I know she's watched.
Oh,
so
your sister's Stretch. You know, I know you girls by now.
Oh man, she's going to hang me.
So it's Stretch's apple cider, huh? That goes in it? I like that tip. I think that sounds good.
She owns a restaurant, and she closes it down every year so the whole family can come down, and she does every bit of the cooking.
Oh, no kidding. Well, something else we've learned about Stretch, right?
She's very... I don't know, she's a very quiet person.
Oh, well, she's a wonderful contributor to the show, and so are you, Sandy. I'm glad you called.
Well, I got to let you know, I didn't know anything about it until she told me.
Well, good. I'm glad she told you. And you tell a friend, too, okay?
I'm not telling her Stretches out. I can't tell her real name because she doesn't want anybody to know it. But she probably told you. But have a nice Thanksgiving.
You, too. Thanks for calling, Sandy.
Bye-bye.
Lynn from North Carolina. How are you, Lynn?
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's your secret from North Carolina?
I'm not sure if you can get it everywhere, but it's Jimmy Dean sage sausage.
Jimmy Dean.
And also a clove of garlic.
Now, the sage and the clove of garlic are something we can always find. And then with your sausage, eh?
Well, it's sage sausage. I don't know if it would taste the same with just adding sage. But if you can find Jimmy Dean sage sausage, and this isn't really my recipe, I kind of got it from someone else, but could I give him credit, please?
Absolutely.
His name is Jack Murphy. He's a DJ on a radio station here in North Carolina.
So great minds think alike.
I love you guys. Y'all are great.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you calling. Jimmy Dean sage sausage. And now we have Kate on the line from Illinois. Hi, Kate.
Hi.
What's your tip?
We use turkey candy, which is the heart and the gizzards, and we put that in our stuffing.
I happen to like the innards in the stuffing.
Me
Some
too.
people don't like that.
I like the gizzard.
Does everybody always like that, or do you have to sort of warn them?
Well, we cook our turkey at home and then take it to where we're going, and
Right.
we cut it up so fine where they don't know and we don't tell them. So.
You don't tell them, but they don't know won't hurt them on Thanksgiving, right?
That's right.
Thanks a lot for calling, Kate.
Okay.
Molly, do you have a last tip?
Well, you know, being from Massachusetts, the site of the first one,
Yes.
right, a lot of people put in clams and oysters.
New Orleans.
Oh, which is your
New Orleans,
recipe, too.
French bread and oysters. My mother puts more oysters in bread, so it's really, really
I've never
delicious.
had oyster stuffing.
Oh,
I'm going to try that.
Unbelievable. Mom? For Sissy.
Well, coming up next on Queens, he's the butler from the hit CBS series The Nanny. But in real life, he can't even make coffee.
That is
Go through the roof.
everybody's end-all be-all special secret ingredient.
The sage as well? Or not, just Jimmy Dean sausage, period?
I've never heard of that.
The Jimmy Dean sausage has sage in it.
It must have sage
This is
in
what
it.
the deal is, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Well,
think?
thank you for that. I'll.
Hi, Jimmy Dean here.
Yeah, Jimmy Dean.
We used the best point, Russ.
We used the best parts of this.
What? It's creaky?
That's true. What what you can do for your. How does that go? Ask not
what you can do. No.
What, you know what I'm saying?
That's not what, I don't know. Whatever
it was brilliant, whatever it was.
Roger, what do you think?
Your brother's a good-looking guy.
Very handsome.
He's handsome.
Don't ask the country what to do. Ask the country what to do.
Thank you, Roger.
I think that was it, wasn't it?
Thanks, Raj.
Start taking the medication again, Roger.
Thank goodness they're all these presidents. Why do I feel that was on Talk Soup this weekend? If you watch the E! channel, they excerpt talk shows, and moments like that make it. Welcome back to Queen's Not Just Another Talk Show. I'm joined by Rhonda Shear with her fall look today.
My fall. It's
Very
for
cute.
fall.
And at my house, Monday nights, there's appointment television. There is must viewing at the Biggers household. It's called The Nanny. Because we not only love Fran Drescher as Nanny, we adore Niles the butler. Please welcome Daniel Davis to Queens.
Thank you very much. Nice
welcome
to be
the
here.
program.
Great to be here.
So you're the Mr. French of my daughter's generation.
I guess I am. I guess I'm starting to become that. It's a big surprise because, the show was on last year, and we're halfway through our second season now. And we've been doing great numbers, and I just was up in Canada this weekend, and it's the first time that I've sort of been out
and about
in the public, out and about, since the show got so popular. And stewardesses on the planes and the ticket agents and everybody are being so kind and so nice about the show.
Those upgrades are coming.
Yeah, those upgrades are coming.
You've been an actor for a long time, so are you enjoying this moment?
It's a very strange thing for me because I've been an actor since I was 18, which was a long time ago. And I worked in the theater for many years before I decided to make the switch to television and film. And so you work and you toil in a kind of anonymity which you begin to like because it's sort of... it sort of protects the work a little bit. You can be whoever you want to be in your life because it's separate from who you are on the screen. And you don't sort of get that crossover with your persona starting to get into the work. So you feel protected, and then all of a sudden, there's this huge exposure, and people want to know about you.
And expectation for your character, because this character is a real character.
Yeah, exactly.
The butler, the sharp-tongued, sardonic butler.
Yeah.
In case you haven't seen The Nanny, let's take a look at a clip.
Oh, you got a clip
of your work.
Great, okay.
On Monday nights at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Went with Richie Schneider. He had 2 left feet.
Bit of a klutz, eh?
No, he had 2 left feet. Some freak thing. His mother was an X-ray technician.
I'm confused. Could he dance or not?
Actually, he was an excellent dancer. Except when they did the hokey pokey and they said, put your left foot in. Poor boy went down like a ton of bricks.
Wonderful. Now, but that hardly showcases what you do. Did CPS send that clip? Because I know those moments you have in the kitchen with her, where you really get to put in your 2 cents.
I don't know how this clip service works because I didn't get to pick it. I don't get to ask. But I mean, she's such a delight. It's so wonderful to watch her work. I get to sit and I get as much kick out of watching her as I do anything else.
We like to boast that Fran Drescher is a Queens native.
I'm saying I'm here doing research.
Yes.
Because I can walk around her old neighborhood. I mean, this is where it all started.
I'm so glad we can help your character, Daniel.
Thank you.
Now, does she set a fun tone around the set? I would imagine.
Yes, it is. It is a very amiable atmosphere to work in, and the actors are a wonderful group of people. We have a great director who comes from the theater, and a lot of our actors come from the theater. So there was an ensemble sort of chemistry from the very beginning. I mean, from the pilot
very
on.
evident.
And we respect and love each other very much and have a great time. And you know, I mean, there's 7 actors, there's a director, there's 8 or 9, 10 writers, there's technicians. There's a lot of people who have to feel good about what they're doing and whose needs have to be met. So, you know, there's frictions that happen.
Right.
And comedy is it's very precise and very hard thing to do, you know. And it requires a lot of work, and that can create a, you know, it's wrong to say that it's tension or friction, but it does keep you on edge, you know. I mean, we've been saying, you know, in California, the earthquakes are easy, but comedy's hard.
You heard that out there?
No, I haven't.
Now, first of all, you play the English butler.
Right.
And until I got to learn about you and inviting you, when you were invited on Queens, I assumed that you were an Englishman.
I guess everybody does.
But you're from Arkansas.
That's the big surprise, the English butler from Arkansas. Yeah.
So was that a
There's
tough part to
similarity
get?
in that tone. You never noticed
there's
that?
a little bit.
There really is.
In Arkansas and English?
Between Southern and English, because
there
you know
really
a lot of English. There were a lot of English settlers throughout the South. A lot of people who came here and immigrated here, and so it's always easy for a Southerner to pick up English sounds.
Except for me.
Except for you. Where are you from?
I'm from New Orleans, but it's a whole different thing.
Oh, that's a different culture altogether.
Right.
But the people that I grew up around were all my family's all Welsh heritage, and so they kind of have the natural resonance in their voices and heads, and it's just easy to pick the sound.
Are you actually from Little Rock, Arkansas?
Well, I was born in a town called Gurdon, Arkansas, which was a railroad town, which is 32 miles from a place called Hope.
So, do you know the Clintons, Daniel?
You know, we're the same age.
You
the
and Bill?
president and I.
So you were in the same high school?
We were in the same at the same time, but not in the same places, because he was in Hot Springs and I was in Little Rock. But we never met, but I'm sure that our football teams and our debate teams and all that stuff were rivals with each other, but no, I never met him.
And we had Roger Clinton on the show the other day.
Yes.
He's quite a character.
Yeah, and he obviously knows his history.
Now, indeed. Well, I wasn't doing so well there myself, trying to get that President Kennedy quote. My husband was mortified. Now, Daniel, you would play this sort of anal retentive of butler on the show.
Right.
So it begs the question, is this at all like your character in real life? I mean, in real life, are you like this?
You know, this is the biggest fear, because you hear this, you see this character on the screen being, you know, acid-mouthed and very quick-witted and very sharp. And you start coming to do the chat shows, and you think they're going to be waiting for you to do that. And he's a lot more quick-witted than I am in real life, I think. And you know, I do a lot more domestic chores on the set of that show than I do in my own home, I can
that's
promise
funny.
you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you know what they said about Queen Elizabeth I, she bathed twice a year, whether she needed to or not.
Exactly.
I clean my house once a month, whether it needs it or not.
Well, you know, when you're working out on the set there, you don't feel like cleaning when you get home.
To do that twice,
So I
exactly.
can't ask you for your Thanksgiving stuffing recipe.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, okay. But your fans can see you during the CBS Thanksgiving coverage on Thursday.
That's right. On Thursday morning, we yesterday pre-taped a segment of the Santa Claus Parade in Toronto.
Wonderful.
A wonderful actress named Margaret Reed from As the World Turns and I.
Okay.
And it's going to be part of the Thanksgiving Day celebration, which Tyne Daly and Jim Nance are hosting here in New York.
In New York. Well,
Right.
great. I'm sure many of your fans will get a chance to see you.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Thank
and thanks
you,
so
and
much
to
for
you.
coming
My
to Queens.
pleasure. Thank you.
And
Nice to meet you
say
too.
hello to Fran for us,
I
and to
will.
Charles, who
I
was
will.
here already.
Oh,
We
great.
enjoyed
Oh,
meeting him.
all
So
right.
tell Fran we're waiting breathlessly for her to make an appearance
Oh, she'll come.
in her hometown.
Oh, she'll be
okay,
here.
good.
Next on Queens, it can take years off your looks, but it can badly burn your skin. Acid peels.
Get Felicia to talk to Danny, please.
Thank you.
Every time you make eyes at me. I was singing that all last night, Laura.
Laura, give me a mic check.
Hello. 10, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7.
Back here. Under?
Tomorrow, please. Find out why Barbie isn't just a doll. Her unauthorized biography. Tells all. And she plays Lisa on Sister Sister.
Oh, we know we don't have it before. All we did is tape her being
peeled.
So you can use it as B-roll?
2 tapes. One is where they put the first treatment on. The second is where she sprays the foam on.
I'm going to do that to you.
To my hand.
So
Put
it's
your
not
hand
a
out
before,
here.
after. It's more
My
like
hand
a,
that has
You want to take your rings off?
Yeah, how it feels. So
Won't go near your nail polish. I'll just do it here.
I think we just do it there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fine, Laura's off camera. We do it.
Tomorrow on Queens, find out why Barbie isn't just a doll. Her unauthorized biography tells all. And she plays Lisa on Sister Sister, the effervescent Jacquet Harry.
What a rare mood I'm in.
Barbie. I am so excited about Barbie. I'm going to get my holiday Barbie today.
You are?
I collect them every year.
Oh, good. Would you pick up a couple for a little couple of girls I know? Aunt Rhonda? So, Rhonda, the phones are still ringing off the hook with stuffing recipes. And let me just say that the 2 words that are being uttered on the end of every phone in this country, Jimmy Dean.
It's unbelievable.
It's the sausage.
Do you just stick the sausage in whole, or do you cut it up?
I don't know, but I just have this feeling that Jimmy Dean will be sending a case overnight tonight to Queens.
I feel
Don't you
it
think?
too.
We can put in all of our stuffings.
Maybe Cosmic will just...
How nice for
wedge
Jimmy
it
Dean
here.
getting all this wonderful publicity on Queens. Well, you know, we're back, and something that's really been bugging me. Are you a reader of women's magazines?
Of course, I love them.
Well, you can't pick up these beauty magazines without hearing about this new thing called the glycolic acid
Alpha
hydroxy peel.
I was going to call it the hydraulic.
There are ads everywhere. It's the new thing in skincare. It's supposed to be very effective, make you look great. However, you could hurt yourself. So here to sort of make sense of all these over-the-counter products and to help us understand how it should properly be done by a professional, please welcome back to the show Dr. Paulus, who's just a regular here on Queens. Good to see you again.
Nice to be back, Sissy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Now, first of all, the word acid is a little scary when you're talking about putting something on your face. Explain what kind of acid this is and what effect we hope to achieve in our beauty regimen.
Sure. Well, this is the hottest thing in dermatology now, and it is in just about every magazine. The acids that they're talking about are extracted fruit acids called alpha hydroxy acids. Sometimes you can get them from sugar cane as well. They occur naturally or they can be synthetically made in the laboratory, and we're not talking about hydrochloric or sulfuric or any of those very strong acids. We're talking about partially neutralized, partially buffered acids. In the right hands, they can do wonders for your skin, But of course, this is like all aspects of allied medicine, needs to be regulated.
And what is the theory behind this treatment? What does it do for a woman's or a man's face?
It appears to do a couple of things. The first thing it does is an action called keratolytic action, which causes the cells, the cement that holds the cells together, to loosen a little so you shed the dead skin cells.
Ew, cement.
Ew, but
Ew.
is it the top layer or does your whole face just fall
No,
off?
we're just talking about the top layers. You know how in the 70s people came out with apricot scrubs and buff puffs, and the concept was good. We want to exfoliate, but you don't want to draw blood or traumatize your face doing it. So this does it naturally, easily, and safely.
Now, do you have to go to a dermatologist? Because I've actually had this done when I've had a facial.
Right.
Am I taking my life into my own hands?
There's a little bit of risk, I believe, in doing it that way. If the facialist is well trained, and it's difficult to ascertain that, and has a lot of experience, it's probably safe with the lower percentage acids. Once you start to get up into the 40, 50, 60%, I think your safety is...
What about the over-the-counter stuff? Is that dangerous if you do it at home?
Well, I think it's actually a good idea to begin with an over-the-counter product to see if you're allergic or not. And once you find that you like the effect or you aren't allergic, then you can move on to the big guns.
But when you go to a facialist and they try to push this peel on you, because it's more money, too, for them.
Sure.
They don't have to be a doctor like you, Lori, to use these higher grades of acid? They can use whatever they feel like?
No, unfortunately, it's not regulated yet. It's something called a cosmeceutical, which is sort of a hybrid between a cosmetic and a pharmaceutical, and it really, I think that regulations are impending.
Well, you're going to put a little bit on my hand so I can get the feel for this.
Sure, I've brought along today.
No, she does all these stars, too.
These
Right?
stars?
Can I ask her about that?
Who have you seen?
I do a lot of stars, but you know that client privilege.
Oh,
Really?
Please, come on. Not even like, can I say, if I say an initial, can you just go yes or no?
I'm like a priest, I can't tell.
All right, can I ask you this question while you're doing that? Have you ever done other parts of the body other than hands and faces?
Sure. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, although they might not admit it here in my office, they admit to rough skin on the back of arms,
Ooh, I
thighs,
hate that.
even butts.
Butts?
We've peeled them all.
You have peeled. Do you get usually celebrity butts, or is this like regular butts? Well, I didn't say who.
She's like a priest.
I'm trying. I'm working
But I mean,
this.
well, who else would want to have their butt, since you're all using that word done, unless they were a celebrity who's using the butt?
Well, she was saying earlier that it does help
feels good.
reflect the light when you're in show business better, when your skin is
I
exfoliated.
do a lot of the models, and the photographers actually call me and they say, please continue to do what you are doing, because the camera picks up the light reflection better.
Now, right now, you're painting on, what solutions are you painting on?
I'm painting on a low-grade, partially neutralized, partially buffered alpha-hydroxy acid called glycolic acid, which is a tiny molecule extracted from sugarcane, appears to penetrate the skin, disperse, and cause a plumping of the dermis.
It feels, the plumping of the dermis, I can feel.
Are you feeling a little tingly?
No, it feels a little tingly, yeah. It's a little stingy, but it's a good kind of stingy.
These are the type of peels that you don't look like a lizard after. You don't have to hide for 2 weeks. This is a series of peels.
Like, could you go out at lunch? And
Absolutely.
Well, we actually did one before the show. Let's take a look. We had Lori Green was our subject. There she is, getting treated.
She looks so relaxed.
She does. She was very thrilled, because these cost money.
Oh, yeah.
These cost like
No,
$100?
I felt her skin.
Between $100 and $150 per peel, and we usually recommend 4 to 6 peels for a series.
But it only stays on
2 minutes to start.
And Lori, how do you, there she is in the booth. Look at her shiny face. See?
She looks great without makeup.
She looks beautiful.
Scaring me.
And did you enjoy it? Was it fun?
Yeah, it stung a tiny bit, and then it stung afterwards, and now
Right.
it feels really, really smooth.
Now, in between these sessions, how long should one wait?
Usually 2 weeks between sessions, and here I'm neutralizing.
Now, let me ask you this, because I keep seeing all the ads, Lori, for the different over-the-counter alpha hydroxys. What's the best one to try at home that you can just buy at the cosmetic counter? Would you recommend?
Well, really, any that say that they contain alpha hydroxy, and as with all new products, you need to buy it, try a little test spot in an area that's not central face first, twice a day for a few days, and then you can graduate to the whole face.
And eventually, is this really taking the place of facelifts for some women?
No. This will be good for fine wrinkles. This will be good for acne. This will be good for pigmentation irregularities.
Feels
a
good.
smoother tone.
A smoother tone. Well, my hand is
Your
going to
hand's
just be
gonna get a lot of
fabulous.
attention today.
I do a lot of hand models.
It feels very tingly. It feels good, and you know, the hands do age, you know.
And let me feel your hand.
See,
it's very
it feels smooth.
Oh, this one's rough.
See, can you
smooth?
Well, thank you very much, Lori. And you know, it's great to have a dermatologist in the house.
My pleasure.
So remember, you know, read the labels carefully and go to a dermatologist, not necessarily a facialist. Thank you for this,
Anyone
by
the
the way.
initial of L?
We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you want to see on Queens. Write us. Lifetime Television, care of Queens, 34-1236th Street, Astoria, New York, 11106.
Right.
That's why my skin's good, because I
had to have that many.
smog and all the dirt, disgusting things that
You're not doing it?
Give him a stool. Where's the stool? Mark will explain it to you. Up, sorry.
Queens has been nominated for a Cable Ace Award for Best Talk Show Series.
Is being tidied up there by Daniel. Thanks so much, Daniel. That, of course, would be the Emmy in the cable world.
I'm so excited.
It's not till January. We got so much time
I'm gonna get
to
you
worry
little
about
ace
it.
earrings.
Little
Will you
ace
wear
earrings.
little ace earrings?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow I'll
Big
be
day.
back.
Ed Begley Jr.
Different hair. Barbie!